Hey guys, EVILC here. Welcome to episode 16 and part 2 of my Sega Trifecta miniseries. Today we'll be looking at Madworld for the Wii. This one's published by Sega, obviously, and developed by Platinum Games, who consist primarily of former employees of Clover Studio, who brought us such Capcom classics as Beautiful Joe, Okami, and God Hand. Madworld is Platinum Games' debut title. Madworld puts us into the role of Jack, a mysterious man who arrives in Varigan City, located on Jefferson Island, 3 days after the city's been taken over by a terrorist group known as the Organizers, who have severed all transportation and communications with the city and unleashed a deadly virus that will kill anyone infected within 24 hours. The citizens are told if they want the antivirus, they must kill at least one other person, and thus the city becomes the arena of the long-running underground game show called Death Watch, a televised show that has the audience place bets on their favorite contestants, called Kill Seekers. If you've ever seen the Schwarzenegger film The Running Man, the deadly game show plot idea is quite similar, and the film itself is pretty good too. Let's talk a little about controls and gameplay. The gameplay of Madworld is that of a brawler. Your goal is to run through each stage, attacking all of the enemies who come up against you, and trying to kill them as violently and brutally as possible. Every time you kill someone, you earn points, which you can see on the right side of the screen. And the more violently you kill someone, the more points you get. And you can do this in a huge number of ways. Such as you can grab environmental objects here and ram it through a guy's head. Now that got me 20,000 points just for that. And then if I were to kill him, as in delivering an execution blow, the execution will be worth more. Here's an environmental object. Bash him on top of a hook, which will earn me a huge bonus. Now I'll show you some of the controls of Madworld. In order to do a regular standard attack, you simply just mash the A button on the Wii remote and Jack will do a fury of punches. And you can also hold the A button and grab onto an enemy. And when you're holding an enemy, you can motion forward with the Wii remote and you'll throw them. This also goes for other objects as well, like this garbage can over here. Motion forward and you'll put the guy inside of it. And another thing you can do when you're holding on to an enemy is motion forward with the nunchuck and you'll headbutt him. And then motion again and we'll throw him. Now with the B trigger you have your chainsaw, and a simple horizontal or vertical slice will attack with it, thus slicing your enemy and making him explode into a fountain of blood. And you've also got a couple of other motion-based attacks. You can motion horizontally without your chainsaw out and you'll do a backhanded attack, or motion up and do an uppercut. Now with the nunchuck, you can flick it once and you can do an evasive backflip. And the Z button allows Jack to jump, which can allow him to reach new areas. Finally, the C button is what recenters your camera. And if you hold it, it will lock onto an enemy. Now periodically throughout the level, a new event will open up. Like you just saw this deadly bus come in, which has a whole bunch of spikes on it. And this is good for getting some really elaborate kills. You want your kills to be as elaborate as possible, as I said before. Because the more elaborate your kills, the more points you'll get. And by getting more points, you'll open up more events during the level, such as a weapons dispenser will open up, or a bloodbath challenge. And then finally, when you earn enough points, you can fight the boss at the end of the level. Now on the D-pad, you can also pick up weapons that you can bring out by pressing left or right on the D-pad. Like, I have a katana here, which is a great weapon for slicing up enemies really fast. And you attack with that with just pressing the A button. Or you can do a heavy attack with it with a motion control, with a vertical or horizontal slice. You can also taunt your enemies by pressing down on the D-pad. And then you can execute a finishing move when your enemies are near death. And this has a whole bunch of various effects. You execute a finishing move by either holding A or B when the finish prompt. Like here, I'll hold... I'll weaken up an enemy. And then weaken up an enemy and then hold B. And Jack cuts his chainsaw right through him. And that's just one effect. Like you saw, I picked a guy up and I twirled him around like a lasso. Here's another one. Slash horizontally, and I took his legs out. And he's still on the ground. Hold. It was gone. Oh, never mind. As you saw before, you just motion in a circle and then let go of A, and they'll fly forward. You can do some really gruesome finishing moves in this.
Next up are the bloodbath challenges, which I briefly mentioned before. Bloodbath challenges occur in every level and are basically a series of outrageously violent minigames to help to mix up the gameplay a little bit, as well as get you some extra points. This one is called Money Shot, which involves you shaking up bottles of beer, shoving them down a guy's throat, then as the pressure builds up they explode, he takes off like a rocket, and gets impaled on the giant nude female target in the background. Now what game would be complete without a boss battle? Madworld contains many bosses, which you'll fight at the end of every level. Every boss is very unique, from their individual personalities right down to their fighting styles, so you always have to use different tactics in each fight. The best way to kill a boss is during what's called a power struggle. When you have your chainsaw out, move the Wii remote in the correct direction displayed on screen, which begins the power struggle. Then follow the on-screen prompts. Do it correctly and you'll inflict massive damage upon the boss.
The black and white graphic novel inspired art style is absolutely gorgeous, and it gives Madworld a look unlike any other game. The gameplay, what can I say, it's solid, and if you like brawlers, especially 3D ones, it's non-stop action all the way. The motion controls overall are great. They're tight and responsive, and I had virtually no trouble using them. It makes the killing blows feel extremely satisfying, and all the sick, crazy, inventive ways they deceive to kill people is very impressive. Brawlers aren't famous for having great storylines, but Madworld's story I found to be a pretty compelling one. And the voice acting in the story segments was excellent, and the commentary provided by Greg Proops and John DiMaggio, the latter of which you'll recognize as everyone's favorite alcohol-fueled robot Bender, was absolutely hilarious. Madworld is incredibly short. On my first run, I beat it in just under 4 hours. The gameplay, as with all brawlers, is very repetitive. You'll kill guys with the same weapons, attacks, and environmental objects over and over again. The camera is also kind of wonky. I feel it doesn't do a great job following you, and you'll have to reset it a lot, especially when enemies encircle you. Lastly, the game fully supports widescreen, but there's no 480p support, and there's been no official explanation as to why not. So if you use VGA cables with your Wii, you're screwed. Sega? Platinum Games? WTF? Overall, Madworld is an artistically gorgeous, extremely violent, over-the-top, action-packed brawler with some great motion controls and a fairly compelling storyline. It's hindered only by its extremely short length and its repetitive brawler-style gameplay. If you're a huge fan of 3D brawlers and you don't mind the short length, I would say buy this game now. For everyone else, I feel it's a better rental, as I don't feel the game is quite worth the full $50 price tag. However, many stores have been discounting it recently, so if you could find it for, say, $35, then I would say buy it now. So that concludes my review of Madworld for the Wii. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to leave me a rating or a comment. If you like my reviews, please subscribe, and if you do, huge thanks in advance. So far, Sega has done a very good job with both House of the Dead Overkill and Madworld. Will Conduit net them the hat trick? I don't know, but we'll find out soon enough. Again, I'm EVILC. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.